And thank you very much for choosing the full view on this Friday evening as we bring you our special coverage here at the Virginia Airport in Durban, KwaZulu-Natal. It is the nerve center of logistical and rescue and recovery operations for the province. There's a lot of activity. You'll hear helicopters landing and taking off. There are vehicles, rescue vehicles coming in and out as we continue to bring you the story of the devastation and tragedy in the province and get an understanding of just the human faces behind the stories. It takes a village to raise a child, they say, according to an African proverb. And certainly the village has stepped up here in KwaZulu-Natal to take care of people. I'm going to start first with Sharm's Maharaj, who is a volunteer and a rescue worker. And then we'll talk to two families who've been directly affected by the devastation and the loss of property and life here in KwaZulu-Natal. Sharm's, good evening, and thank you so much for your time. You look very tired. Has it been a really exhausting couple of days, I imagine?
No, thank you very much, and really we have been doing a lot of work, but looking at what's going on here, I really feel very heartened about the people who are here, who are volunteers, who are flying helicopters, who are rescuing people, who are digging up graves of people who have died. I mean, what we have been doing is kind of now become so small, but we are doing the work.
You know, every drop of water fills a cup, they say. It's a collective effort. So I want to applaud you as we applaud the teams that are here, because it is people like yourselves that build a community. And, you know, speaking to that theme, what is it like for an informal organization or group of people who just care about the community to come together and create a disaster response plan? Just take us into how you make that happen, Shams.
Well, when the floods happened on the first day, when the rains came, we've heard on the night of the first day that people's houses were being washed away, people were missing, presumed dead, people don't have food, houses were being washed away. And we said, let's come together, and at the Phoenix Ubuntu Forum, together with Phoenix Child Welfare Society, we've come together with a group of volunteers to look at what is it we can do to help. We put out a call for help from the public, and we are very happy that the public has come to the party, and we have produced 20,000 hampers, which we are currently distributing to people from wherever they are, whether it's from Phoenix, Inanda, Komashu, but you are a human being who have lost somebody in your family. And we have been providing food, blankets, shelter, and we are working 24 hours with volunteers who have not slept for many days.
Yeah. That's so amazing for me to hear, and so heartwarming, Shams, because we're in a context in our country where there's a lot of bitterness about corruption, and there feels like, you know, like we're separated from each other in many ways because of what's happened to us and what's happened to us over the last couple of months and so on. But when you share in the way that you do, it tells me that community spirit is still alive. So these volunteers that you have, are they just ordinary people, moms and pops, teenagers, you know, just ordinary people?
It's everybody who could help, from business to volunteers from the community, NGOs, to people from child welfare, mothers, fathers, people who even lost, people who have lost their provisions, have come together to be part of a community grouping who can help other people. People in distress, I mean, I'd seen people who have lost everything, who have got nothing, but who have come to be part of a community grouping to raise money, to get food to people who don't have.
Yeah.
And we have been so encouraged and enlightened by this effort.
That's really heartening, and I'm sure it resonates across our country. You know, what was so stark for me is, you know, at one moment you're at home, you're cooking dinner, you're watching television, maybe you're traveling home from work, and suddenly the roads are flooded. Suddenly your living room is engulfed by water. There is, you know, like a cognitive dissonance that sets in that moment. You just can't believe your eyes. And so Mira Premjith and Zandi Mkhize are with me, and this was really their experience of how life goes from normal to extremely abnormal in a matter of moments. Mira, I don't know if you want to kick it off and just share with our viewers your experience in your own words, and you can speak as honestly and as freely as you want.
I really appreciate you affording me this opportunity. It's been a disastrous time, and it's an ongoing. I'm from Sestri Park, Cherens Park area, and we live in swampy areas, flood ravished areas, and it's an ongoing problem for the past 28 years. We have nobody on board to come assist. Now that we live in the shell of our homes, we have nothing. We couldn't salvage anything. The night we left with only the clothes on our backs. The stench is unbearable. We've got stagnant water. I've got an asthmatic son that I had to relocate him to family because it's unhygienic for him to live in our homes. We actually live at the mercy of our family and friends who brings meals over because we have virtually lost everything in this time. To date, no politician has come across. Nobody has come looked at our plight. Nobody has come and seen the condition, the deplorable state that we are living in at the moment. Nobody has come to our rescue. We're asking them to come, help the community, help us as a whole. Come, your voices will be heard. Take it across. Let us be heard. That's what we're asking for.
Mira, you mentioned you have a son that's not well.
Yes.
And how have the children been reacting to this sudden change?
It's very hard. It's very difficult. My daughter is a university student. It's hard. She's on a semester break, which helps. But, to be in that environment, the stench is unbearable. Family and friends came on board. They helped us out. They accommodate us for the night. They bring meals to us. It's hard for the kids especially to be in the situation.
You're essentially homeless.
That's it, the shell of our home. That's what we're living in. We've just got that. We couldn't salvage anything from our homes this time. We couldn't. It's stench, It's the problem is the infrastructure, the sewage and the stormwater. The drainage system is very poor. It's nobody comes to look at these things. It needs to be serviced. I think that's what it's boiled down to,
And that's what we've been hearing a lot about, is the historical lack of maintenance, poor infrastructure that could not withstand the might of an event like this. Zandi, I want to come to you as well. And by the way, again, just thank you very much. I know that these are such difficult circumstances to kind of put you in the spotlight for you to share your story. And so I appreciate that so much. Do you want to share with us what happened?
My story is very...
Do you want to hold the microphone just to your...
My story is very, very painful. Because that day I was thinking I was going to die with my children. When I looked at the house, it was like a tombstone. Because the house was, the gate locked itself. We couldn't come out because it's a inside lock. You have to open it with a small key. So when the house started cracking, it's cracked on the way where we're supposed to open the key. The key couldn't open, and then it started sinking because our ground is soil. It's sand. It's not soil. So my house was washed out on the ground. So the slab was flying. I couldn't see by that time because we're inside the house. Then instead of it cracking, same time, it fell on the side. It was sinking on the side where there was no nothing supporting the slab of the house. And then I decided that because we couldn't come out with the gates, with the door, because it's locked itself, we must at least try the window. I've got 2 sons and 1 daughter. And I told her to take the hammer and try something on the window to try and...
How old are the kids?
The small one is 7 and the middle one is 11 and my daughter is 23 years.
So the kids, they had to do this on their own?
Yes, we were all inside. So my head just it jammed. I couldn't think anymore. I lastly told my daughter to take the hammer. She went to the window. She tried to take out the battle cut. We were lucky because it wasn't welded on the walls. It was welded on the frame of the window. It's wood. So that's how we managed to come out, because she managed to take it out and she banged the window glass. Then we came out throughout the window. There was the only one thing that we could have that we taken out. There was a box on the wardrobe, on top of the wardrobe, where I kept all the important documents, and she managed to take only that out. We came out with nothing, with no clothes, nothing. Even the children right now, because the schools are back, they are not schooling. They've got no uniform, no nothing. We came out with nothing, only that box with the IDs and what.
In that moment, I mean, I can only imagine as a mother what you're thinking. Am I going to make it out alive? Are my children going to make it out alive?
Yes.
You know, Zandi, we've shown our viewers stories and pictures of so many families across the province who've lost several children, several family members at once. And it's so harrowing to even think about what you experienced in that moment.
Yeah, it was very, very frightening. Because the small one was busy telling my mom, I'm scared to die, I'm scared to die. So that was the time I froze, because I was not seeing the way of coming out of the house. And looking at it, thinking, this is the end of me, everything of mine is going to end up here, because I was going to die with all my kids.
Oh, it's just, as you share that, you kind of, I mean, I'm so glad, obviously, for you and your family, Zandi, that you were able to make it at least, without loss of life of your children or even of yourself, and they still have you. But, in the next segment, we're going to be talking to a psychologist about how you begin to deal with trauma. And I can only imagine, I mean, how are your kids? How are they dealing?
They're just coping. But the big one is the one who understands exactly what was going on. She's the one who's taking it out, because she's in varsity. Even her laptop was there. Right now they're supposed to go back to school because Zululand was closed because of everything that was going there. Now they phoned them to come back to school. And I don't even know how I'm going to get that laptop for her, because it's like six point something. So it's hard.
I mean, the loss has been, so deep, as you say. It's not only the loss of possession, but it's also the loss of innocence in many different ways. Mira?
Yes, absolutely. It's devastating. Psychologically, emotionally, financially. It really impacts on our families. We all we ask is, our politicians come across, help us out, come look at our plight. Look at the deplorable conditions that we're living in. Yeah. After this devastating floods, you need to actually come and service the stormwater, widen the pipes. The drainage, it's so poor. And, we never asked to be allocated these homes on swampy land.
So these were government allocated
Yes, absolutely. And the swampy area, we affected, the entire line of homes are affected.
Yeah. Shams, thank you so much. Mira, Zandi, thank you so much for sharing your story. I can see that it's really incredibly difficult to be able to relive in a way those moments. I'm sure that a lot of people, who have a heart for the suffering in our country empathize a lot with what you've experienced, and hopefully that national effort can kind of converge to assist families who are grieving and families who are in need. We'll talk more about trauma and how we try to, as any way that we can, to recover from a tragedy of this magnitude. We'll be back after this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. Thank you.